Hey guys, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Ben. I'm going to be coming on board the video team to do a few more metal bits and bobs for the channel here, and today we're going to be looking at how to sound like Jim Root, or as close as we can get, for about £1,000. So, bit of a background on Jim Root. So Jim Root is the guitarist from Slipknot, also in Stone Sour until about 2014 as well, but we're going to be primarily focusing on his days in Slipknot, what gear he's used throughout the years and in what eras as well. Starting off in the world of amps, in more recent times, Jim has sort of switched it around a little bit. He's used Bogner's, Friedman's, even stuff like the head first amps now. We're going to be sticking with Orange. That's the meat and potatoes of the sound here. It's what he used for gone 15 years, and that's where we're going today with it. Guitar-wise, he's probably got one of the biggest and most expansive signature collections with Fender, ranging from Telecasters, Jazzmasters, Stratocasters, a couple of one-offs, even like the Meteoras as well. We're going to dive into a little bit of the effects world as well, talk about what he uses live for certain sounds and how we're going to try and get as close as we can with the budget that we've got at hand as well. Let's get straight on into it with the amps here. So what I've opted for today is the Orange Super Crush 100. The reason we're going for this amp today, we need something that's got two channels. A lot of people are going to associate Slipknot with nothing but, you know, fast riffs, lots of heavy music, but in more modern times, the older people get, the more chilled out it gets a little bit as well. So there are a lot of clean sections in there as well. So we need an amp that's going to have a clean section and obviously a pretty decent dirty section in there as well. So we've gone the Super Crush 100 from Orange, got a Celestion speaker in there as well, which again, integral to the sound. He uses vintage 30s, so it's going to get us in that ballpark. Guitar-wise, now, most Jim Root enthusiasts out there will know that he's been a massive advocate and user of EMG pickups since the start of the career, so we're talking late 90s, and in more recent years he's also got his own signature set. However, budget we're on, there are many options out there. What we've opted for today is something that's going to also look similar to what he's got. So those who know his signature guitars, it's a pretty streamlined, stripped back guitar. You're talking one volume knob, two EMG pickups and a three-way selector. That's about as complicated as it gets. We've gone for the new Squier Sonic Series hardtail Stratocaster. We need something that's going to handle that drop B, thick strings, low tunings. Hardtail's going to do that pretty well, and it does look the part for the budget. You know, we're talking around about £150 here, so it really does look the part for the sound that we're going for today. If we go to the floor now in the pedal world here, so Jim keeps his pedal board pretty stripped back, not a lot of effects live. He's got a board backstage and he's got a little board out the front. We're going to go with a Tube Screamer-esque overdrive. I know that Jim's used the MXR GTOD since going back as far as 2008. We've kept the POG in there. It's a pretty integral part of the sound, and the only thing that really sounds like a POG is a POG, and it's pretty crucial to have it in there. He used it a little bit more in the Stone Sour days, but it's still in there on the Slipknot stuff as well. We've then got a phaser on the board as well, which is probably one of his most used effects across the clean and the distorted sections. So I know Jim's used stuff like the Maxon phasers over the years. Primarily he uses the small stone. What we've gone for is the new Landlord Dutch Courage phaser. Fantastic pedal, around about the £30 mark, and it's definitely going to get you in that ballpark. Moving across then, we've also got some pedals we're going to be running in the loop, just for full disclosure here. So we've got an EQ running in there as well. some people know orange amps have got a very, very particular style of gain characteristic here. Can get a little bit on the sort of muddy side of things, so we're just scooping out, just giving you exact settings here, scooping out at about the 250 hertz mark, and then boosting at 1.6 as well. So there's not a lot going on there, and it's set about 12 o'clock. Going across then, Jim also uses a fair bit of delay in his sound as well. Again, mainly for solos, bit of clean stuff as well. He uses the MXR carbon copy, so we've gone for that analog warm repeat kind of sound, and can't go wrong with the Tone City tape machine there. Again, it's just going to do the job absolutely perfectly. So what we're going to do now, basically going to run through a summarized clean sound of how you can get that, the heavy rhythm sound, and again the lead. There's not a lot to it, guys. A lot of it is all in the gear here and just having a bit of fun with the playing. So what we'll do, start off with some clean stuff now, nice and easy, and get that out of the way. Like I say, the EQ is always going to stay on, so that's running in the effects loop. What we've also got is then, let's say, the delay, Tone City tape machine on, and the Dutch Courage phaser. Just for disclosure, this guitar is set to drop B, using 1156. Jim actually does have his own signature strings out now as well with Dunlop, so again, that's something you can get, something we do stock here at Andertons as well. I'm going to play through the clean section of the song The Devil and I from the Grey chapter. That is in drop A, but we're in B, so we're just going to have to deal with it. So here's the clean section from that, just so you can hear how it sounds. Again, a lot of this is targeted to the live sound in particular, how he sort of manipulates, because obviously in the studio you got a million takes anyway, so this is focusing on that kind of live sound era. So again, there's not too much going on there. The delay, you can hear it quite clearly in the background. He uses it a lot of the time as opposed to a reverb. He does have an MXR Holy Grail in the rig, but we're just going to stick with the delay. It gives enough ambience here as well. Other key sections you can kind of hear these effects primarily is when he does the clean section coming out the solo and Dead Memories as well. Just quickly show that now to you. Again, there's not a lot much to that sound there. It is as it is. Delay, phaser, clean section. It's going to get you in that ballpark whether you're using this, the small stone, whatever, you're going to get there pretty well. Let's dive into, let's be honest, the bit most people are probably here for, which is the heavy rhythm sound. Jim, a lot of the time live, primarily he just uses the gain from the amp. I've seen in some more recent interviews at the time of doing this video, he is sort of moving with different amp companies now, let's say using head first, experimenting with drives in front of the amp more, but for this, you kind of do need a drive in front of it. More than anything, it's not to add gain, it's just to tighten up that low end. When you're using an orange amplifier, it's got a lot of low end in it, low tunings, you're gonna want something to tighten it up. What I'll do is I'll demonstrate how it's gonna sound off and on as well. The EQ is staying on, like I say. So here is just the sound of the Squire and the Super Crush. So if I then kick on the Behringer Tube Overdrive as well, which is like a TS kind of style pedal. You can hear that it just tightens up that low end. If you're doing some of the more sort of technical stuff, so if you're doing something like Solway Firth from We're Not Your Kind album, again, that's real thrash style picking, so you're gonna want that tight low end. you're going to need that on there. The important thing to also look at is EQ wise. A lot of people associate a lot of modern metal sounds as that super tight gated thing. Slipknot isn't that at all. You listen to mix sound, you listen to Jim sound, you've got that little bit more explosive low, and particularly in mix sound coming from the Omega amps as well. And it is a little more scooped. So again, we're just running the gain at about 2 o'clock on the amp. The EQ sitting about, the bass, sorry, is sitting about the same. Mid slightly scooped at 11, and again, treble sitting at about 2 o'clock as well. And it is going to give you that sound, to be honest with you. So that's pretty much it for the rhythm. One thing to add here, we have got the Electro Harmonics Nanopog on the floor. A lot of the time he's using this for just little flavors here, particularly in songs like Gently from Iowa, you'll hear it. More recently the single they dropped, All Out Life, as well. So just to kind of show you in Gently how it would be used, it's sort of more for that verse part. That's that, and then obviously in All Out Life, it's the tremolo sort of blast beat section before the last chorus. And that's pretty much all he uses it for. Again, there's other little flavors. Primarily it was used in Stone Sour as well, so if you are into that music, it's not going to hurt to have that in your rig as well. His lead sound, again, is super simplistic. A lot of the time, what he said he may do is kick on the overdrive. I always tend to leave it on anyway, and then he'll have the delay on as well. So if you're doing like the solo and something like Dead Memories and you've got the delay on, sometimes he'll move to a neck pickup for it, but a lot of his stuff is on the bridge pickup anyway. That's pretty much it. Again, you've got other solos in there. He uses it for like psychosocials. Stuff like that. It's all that liquidy legato stuff in there that he uses it for. But again, he's not adding much. There's not a lot to his tone. It's just a great amp, great guitar, great pedals, and some wicked playing. Guys, for £1,000, you're going to get a lot of rig here. Again, the guitar actually sounds, it certainly sort of surprised us here in the studio. It was a bit of a gamble, to be honest with you. Again, going for passive pickups. Active pickups got a particular sound, but it sounds great. It feels amazing to play as well, even with the heavier strings on it, and it's something you can upgrade down the line. If you have this entire rig here, you're certainly going to be in the ballpark. You can pretty much jam through most eras of Slipknot with this rig. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Be sure to comment, subscribe. If there's any other artists you want us to cover here on the channel, please pop them down in the comment section below. Again, any further questions about the rig, we'll try and answer as much as we can. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.